All right, man, peace. So, brothers, a few months ago, Walt Frazier, the retired former superstar point guard of the New York Knicks and current broadcaster of that same team for the MSG network, decided that he was going to put forth a certain sentiment towards Kevin Durant. That being that KD will never be respected as the best player in the NBA until he departs from Golden State and leads a team to a championship on his own. And as I stated in that previous video, I think that there were some methods to his madness. Do I believe that he sincerely believes that KD deserves a quote-unquote asterisk next to his record whenever we're evaluating his career? Yes, I do to a degree, but I also believe that Walt Frazier is basically trying to embarrass Kevin Durant into signing with the New York Knicks. Do I believe that it's going to work? No, I do not, but you never know. Now, when we evaluate Walt Frazier's career, he was able to win a championship with the Knicks in 1970. They didn't win in 71 or 72. And they were able to attain Mr. Earl the Pearl Monroe, who was a former rival of the New York Knicks from the Baltimore Bullets, got him to come to the Knicks, and they were able to win a championship in 73. So these things have been happening for eons. Certain marquee franchises being able to attain other great players from other teams in order to optimize their chances or heighten their chances of winning another championship. It's nothing new. Everybody's just trying to come down on Kevin Durant because they want him. Kevin Durant is like the biggest hoe at the high school dance. Everybody wants to dance with her and hope that she'll let him cop a feel. Kevin Durant's not going to lead your team anywhere, but he is the prime weapon in the league right now. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Steve Kerr, such a likable guy. All right, so with the Knicks in Oakland, no question, to play the Warriors on Tuesday night, Walt Frazier says he meant no disrespect to Durant when he said on SiriusXM NBA radio over the summer that Durant deserved an asterisk on the list of all-time great players because of his success with Golden State, obviously joining that squad. Telling the New York Daily News, I also said he's one of the best in the world, right up there with LeBron, and that he's probably going to be the best in the game. Well,
Right, but come on, Clyde. That's like telling the broad you ugly as hell, but A, you have big titties, a fat ass, and you can cook. You already know what they're going to concentrate on. They're going to concentrate on what you said about her being ugly as hell. So for you to say that Kevin Durant is going to have an asterisk next to his name for his career, whatever you say after that is going to sound like one of the adults talking on a Charlie Brown cartoon. It's going to be like, wah, 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 wah. Nobody cares, but you know what you were doing with your no-dressing ass. Walt Frazier looked like he take the Bird Box challenge before he gets dressed. Like, none of them colors match.
Well, the Hall of Fame guard felt the coverage of his comments were overblown. Stephen A., will Durant's success with the Warriors have an asterisk because he joined that team with all those
others? In some people's minds, yes.
Yes, including yours. You're going to say not yours, but yes, yours, because you have been one of the most verbal castigators of Kevin Durant and his move to the Golden State Warriors. Everybody knows that. Everybody came down on KD for signing with a team that had won 73 games the year before. But anyone who is objective and utilizes cognitive function knows why that was the perfect fit for both people. Kevin Durant is somebody who likes peace. He likes order. He does not like upheaval. He does not like chaos. He fits in perfectly with a system that entails constant movement, that needs players who have a diversified skill set, who can dribble, pass, and shoot, and are willing to move without the basketball. He loves to learn about the game, and he wanted to do so on Golden State. Golden State, for their part, they needed a player who could nullify LeBron James. So it was a perfect fit.
It's not mine. No one was harder on him than me when he selected to go to.
Let me rewind this back just a little bit.
To go to.
Because he joined that team with all those others?
In some people's minds, yes, not mine. No one was harder on him than me when he selected to go to Golden State.
Yeah.
I went ballistic and I was disgusted.
You called it the weakest move.
And I thought it was the weekest move that I've ever seen for a superstar.
Why was it the weakest?
Well, because I think that he is so great to go to a team fully loaded like that.
That just beat him.
Yeah.
Right, but that team was not fully loaded. This sentiment that the Golden State Warriors were so fully loaded, they had the same team in 2015-16 that they had in 2014-15. And in 2014-15, nobody was saying that that team was fully loaded. They were viewed as a team that was on the come-up at the start of that season. Now, of course, they went on to win 67 games that year, and people's view of them or their perspective pertaining to them changed. But that was about it. And even prior to that year, the 2013-14 season, they had the same components on that team. Nobody viewed the Golden State Warriors as having all these superstars, so that's nonsense. The Golden State Warriors do not have a bunch of superstars. They had one superstar before Kevin Durant got there. That's Mr. Steph Curry. They have a perfect system. Kevin Durant fits perfectly into that system. He did not want to play street ball with Mr. Russell Westbrook anymore, and I don't begrudge him that.
It didn't matter to me because you know how I feel about the stimulus package. You know how I feel about that LeBron James and the Cavs.
No, I'm saying the Warriors had just beaten the Durant
I got you. Yeah, but I'm still saying, they had just beaten OKC, and he went to the team that beat him a month later, etc., etc. But where I stepped off the gas on that notion was when I saw him in the NBA Finals go right at LeBron. He was clearly not there to ride anybody's coattails. He was clearly there to say, this is a new era.
Well, Stephen A. Smith, he would not have been able to do that if he was still on OKC. Because Russell Westbrook would not have allowed him to go head-to-head with LeBron James. That's the whole point of him going to Golden State in the first place. Because Steph Curry will display the largesse, the generosity to say, here's the basketball, KD. Go ahead and do your thing. Take LeBron James. We know what this is really about. We already have a chip. We want revenge just like you want revenge. Because you've always looked at LeBron as the stumbling block that was in your way to being considered the best player in the league. They always called you number 2. They call him number 1. After last season, they called us number 2 and called him number 1. So we're going to work with you. We're going to use you. And we're going to allow you to get this finals MVP. Now, it was very obvious last season that Steph Curry wanted the MVP. But he came up small in Game 3. So things happen. Point being is this: everything fit perfectly for them to come together.
You did it to a lesser degree, a significantly lesser degree as far as I'm concerned, when LeBron elected to go to Miami. But Kevin Durant saying, okay, I want up you now, but it still comes down to me and you, and I'm right here.
When LeBron James went to Miami, that was a real super team. Everybody knew that team with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh was supposed to win a championship that year. Everybody knew that. When the Golden State Warriors came together in 2014, for real, when they hired Steve Kerr, nobody called them a super team. They didn't become a super team until they got Kevin Durant. So, of course, people expected them to win the title. But let's not try to act like what Kevin Durant did was so much more egregious than what Miami did. Of course, people are going to say, what are you talking about? Golden State won a championship in 2015. They won 73 games in 2016. Right. But LeBron James was viewed as being the number 1 player in the NBA in 2010. I mean, other than some delusional Kobe fans, everybody pretty much thought that LeBron James was the best player in the NBA in 2010. Dwayne Wade was viewed as being a top 5 player. Chris Bosh was viewed as being a top, I would say maybe 15, maybe even top 10 player, depending on a person's personal preference. They were expected to win a championship that season. They were expected to win 4 straight championships. They only won 2. So they came up short. Kevin Durant has done more with the expectations that were placed upon him than LeBron James was, because no team in the league was supposed to beat that Miami Heat team.
And watch me bust that tail. Now, LeBron averaged a triple-double, over 30 with a triple-double, but Kevin Durant did average 35 and 8 in the NBA Finals, was with the NBA Finals MVP. Here's where I think that guys like Walt Frazier, who I love dearly and I know him for many years, along with others, here's my only problem with them. I have a problem with the move that Durant made at the time. I have never had a problem with his game.
Yeah.
I know he's a superstar. And I know that when he went to Golden State, he went as a superstar. It's not like he got there.
Kevin Durant was not a superstar until he got to Golden State, because he did not understand how to win an NBA basketball championship until he got there. Stephen A. Smith throws around that title of superstar way too easily. Way too easily. In order for you to be a superstar, you have to win championships. That's why I state the only superstars in the NBA right now are LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Kawhi Leonard. That's it. Everybody else is a star who's on the come up. Kyrie Irving is a borderline superstar. A borderline superstar. If he's able to win a championship with the Boston Celtics, I might throw him in there as well. But a lot of these other players who are given that title, like James Harden and Russell Westbrook and Paul George and Joel Embiid and all these other guys, no. No. Anthony Davis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, no. All these guys are bubbling on the surface, about to get there.
And all of a sudden his game elevated. Durant has been Durant consistently throughout his career. Now, he has more help. But in terms of his game.
No, it's not that he has more help. It's that he has more understanding. It's about understanding. It's not about help. You can have all the talent in the world on your team. If you're not running the right system with the right coach and everybody have love and respect for their teammates out there on the basketball court, how do you show love? By showing regard. You're not going to win. That's why OKC never won, because they had no idea how to play real basketball. They had James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, what's this guy's name? The guy who currently plays for the Toronto Raptors. They had all those dudes on the team at the same time. Serge Ibaka. They had all that talent on the team at the same time, and they were unable to even keep the team together, much less win anything. So it's about the system and everybody's willingness to buy into the system. It's not just about the talent.
What he brings to the table in terms statistically, efficiency, his level of production, the way he plays the game, it mirrors what he was doing when he was in OKC. So to me, when players talk about him and they use the word the asterisk and all of that stuff, you're implying that the game he displays for you, oh, now it's that way because he's in Golden State. No, you're a champion because you're in Golden State. But his game, his ability to shoot, handle, score prolifically and efficiently, that has always been Durant, and we should not forget that.
You're missing your own point. Walt Frazier was right the first time. He has no reason to apologize to anyone.
Well, I'm not quite sure if he was right, but I will agree that he has no reason to apologize. If that's what he means, that's what he means. Why apologize for it? Other than maybe the New York Knicks upper brass, the front office, prompted him to apologize and think about pulling back on some of the vitriol or the apparent vitriol in his statement, because maybe they think they have an outside chance of getting KD.
Your point was, Stephen A., and I tried to lead you there, back to your original point. It was the weakest move ever by a superstar, your words, and I think it was a weak move because not only did he leave the team that just got beaten by the team he joined,
right,
but he joined a 73-win team, and he is an elite MVP caliber player. And once he did that, it was obvious to everyone alive on planet Earth that there's no way the Warriors could lose.
Right, but you know what the issue is with all that? And I get a lot of guys in my comments that like to go back and forth about this. Just because you see your homeboy walking down the street and your homeboy is what women might assume to be a good-looking dude and his woman is drop dead gorgeous, that doesn't mean that they belong together. They might look good together, but it don't mean that they belong together. Because at home they might be fighting like cats and dogs. She might not have any respect for him. He might not be fulfilling his duties and his roles as a man. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. Just because Kevin Durant looked good on OKC and everybody fell in love with the duo of Westbrook and Kevin Durant, that doesn't mean that they had love for one another how they were supposed to on the basketball court. And it showed in pivotal moments, and that's why KD left. So just because you thought he should have stayed does not mean that he should have stayed.
Therefore, winning a championship with that team is not meaningful. The idea of winning championships is that it reveals something about you. If you're one of the greatest players of all time. The level of your game, your ability to lead. Walt Clyde Frazier, Game 7, 69-70 season, so it was 1970 championship, it's called 69. Against the Los Angeles Lakers with Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West. With a hobbled and then without Willis Reed. Gave them 36, 19, and 7 to win the championship. That is not trying to, I call it reverse engineering. It's not, but that's not trying to start from a place, oh, winning championships makes me great. Therefore, I'll put myself in a position where I can't not win a championship so people will call me great.
Got it.
That's why winning a championship is meaningful. Walt Clyde Frazier shows you why championships, all we're doing is counting rings. Sometimes, because that ring is significant, it speaks to Clyde Frazier's greatness.
Yeah, all that's great, but Clyde Frazier was a leader. Kevin Durant is not. And once again, a few years later, the Knicks were able to add Earl the Pearl Monroe, who was an on-court rival of Clyde Frazier's, so that Earl the Pearl Monroe helped take the team to another level and allowed them to defeat the Lakers in 1973. I believe that he was on the team in 72 when they lost to the 69-win Lakers, but they were finally able to defeat the Lakers in 73. So once again, it's nothing new. Wilt Chamberlain himself moved around and assisted Jerry West in winning his first and only world championship in 1972.
Kevin Durant's rings speak to the fact when he is squad up beyond the point where he has a chance to lose, then he shows up for LeBron.
2 points I'll make specifically for the sole purpose of getting a response from you on this. Point number one, when we look at what you just said, did Walt Clyde Frazier say that about LeBron James when he went to Miami? Can we find that? Because I don't know what he said. I don't recall. I'm asking. Because, again,
I had lunch with Clyde the day of the decision.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I'm saying, I'm asking a legitimate question because I
can tell you what he said.
I don't recall. Okay, I'm asking. All right, so that's number one. So tell me what he said about LeBron going to join D. Wade and Bosh. Number one. And number two, even though Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green had a title, but they had lost the second year to Cleveland. If we're going to say that about Durant, what are we saying about them? Because they're three-time champions now, too, because of Durant.
Right. I would say quickly Clyde was devastated about him not going to the Knicks. But let me
yes, he was.
But that was the main focus, as was I at the time.
Right, but that's also the point with Clyde making the comments that he's making about KD. He's trying to embarrass KD into coming to play for the New York Knicks. And once again, this has always happened. Great teams have always tried to heighten their chances of winning by adding great players, even if they're on the downside or they might not be as great as they once were. When we look at the Philadelphia 76ers, they couldn't win. They added Moses Malone. We look at the Boston Celtics, they brought in players like Dennis Johnson. They brought in players like Bill Walton. The LA Lakers, they brought in players like Bob McAdoo. Later on, they brought in players like Michael Thompson. The Chicago Bulls in the second three-peat, they lost to the Orlando Magic. They knew they needed rebounding help and defense help from the 4 spot. They brought in the great Dennis Rodman. That's how great teams do.
I would say this, more than anything, what Durant joining the Warriors does, he's trying to cement his own legacy. In fact, he cemented LeBron's. Because that was clearly a response to LeBron. He had taken...
I agree with that, but I think that LeBron James' legacy was already cemented before Kevin Durant did that.
Taken maybe the best team in basketball that year by the time the playoffs rolled around to Oracle Game 7 and lost to the Warriors. LeBron took a team, went in and won. And the Warriors and Durant looked at each other and said, we got to beat that guy. That's what it was about more than anything else.
I agree with that. And I mean, I don't think that that's a revelation. But once again, what does that have to do with Kevin Durant not making the best move for him? LeBron James has always made the best move for himself. He didn't go back to Cleveland unless he already knew that they were going to trade that number 1 pick, which was Andrew Wiggins, for Kevin Love, who is widely viewed as the best 4-man in the NBA at that time. And also he already knew that he had Kyrie Irving there. So let's not try to act like LeBron James went to a Cleveland team that was more abundant, had nobody, and said, I'm going to build from scratch, because that's bullshit. LeBron James had the team that was recognized as having the most talent of any team in the NBA all the way from 2010 to 2016, believe it or not. And when the Warriors signed Kevin Durant, they gave themselves a real chance to defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James. As I've already stated in another video, if you had a 3-on-3 tournament and one team had Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, and the other team had LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love, we all know which team is going to get picked by 95% of the people who have the option to pick a certain team. It's going to be the LeBron James team, because that team had far more raw talent than the Golden State Warriors with Steph and Klay and Draymond.
We're out of time. My final thought here, though, this conversation in terms of him having an asterisk is exactly why I think Kevin Durant is going to leave the Warriors. Also,
well, we'll see. Who knows? He might go to the Clippers. But anyway, peace.